Org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to another edition of Outside the Box as we're talking Lincoln Stars hockey, of course, being presented to you by Raising Cane's. I'm Joel Norman, the broadcaster for the Lincoln Stars, and as always, the head coach of the Stars, Rocky Russo, with us. We want to have you be a part of the show. Give us a call on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685, or text us on the Starter Hammond text line, same number, 402-464-5685. You got any questions for Coach about the Lincoln Stars? Rocky, not the weekend you guys wanted. Lost to Omaha, lost to Tri-City the game after that. We figured at some point reality would set in, and there might be a few losses on the schedule after some great play to begin the season. But I think the one thing it presented, it gave you guys, and it's something you talked about, it was a example of an opportunity that, hey, we're going to lose some games, and this is a learning moment early in the season. What's the biggest thing you learned about the team and you think they're going to take away from this past weekend?
Oh, you know what? I'm really distracted right now. And I know this is supposed to be a hockey show and we're supposed to talk about the Lincoln Stars, and I understand that. But I got in my car this morning and I turn on the radio and I have XM radio, Sirius XM radio, and channel 55 used to be the Garth Brooks channel, and now they changed the name to Red, White, and Booze.
Okay.
And so Red, White, and Booze was on my radio station when I shut the car off on October 31st. And when I turned it back on November 1st, it's Country Christmas. and I found 4 Christmas blasting Christmas music November 1.
Yeah.
We're getting a solid 7 weeks of Christmas music, and
there's no Thanksgiving music.
I'm here to tell you I'm kind of here for it.
You are.
I'm kind of in on it.
Okay.
I like Christmas. Like, Christmas is my favorite holiday. Christmas Eve, my whole life, has been my favorite day of the year, and it has nothing to do with the gifts and the presents. I'm Italian. We do the Feast of the Seven Fishes, and my dad and I had just incredible memories on Christmas Eve growing up. But don't you think Thanksgiving is getting a bit of a raw deal when, I love the Christmas music. I'm good with it. I'm cool with it. I grew up with a little crush on Candace Cameron. So, she's all over the TV now on all the Christmas movies. So that's not the worst thing in the world. But I feel like Thanksgiving's getting a little bit of a raw deal here.
It's a little unfortunate. I would love to see a little more love, but Thanksgiving, for what it's worth, it doesn't market itself as well as Christmas does. And frankly, that's something I think we're a couple too many years late on that.
Well, does Thanksgiving not market itself well, or do the media and all these different things just not market Thanksgiving? Because I get it. We don't give out Thanksgiving presents. We give out Christmas presents. And certainly there's a lot of money to be made the more we get this Christmas stuff on. But I wasn't sure what to make of it as I drove to work this morning, listening to Reba McEntire sing Up on the Housetop, or Up on the Rooftop, whatever it is, with Santa Claus there. And I found myself not being able to turn it off. And I was kind of into it.
For me, it's a little hard because we're still wearing shorts right now.
Yeah, it's 70 degrees here in Lincoln. It's wonderful.
I'm not ready to be in the Christmas mode. Once it gets to 30 one morning, I'll say, oh, wait a sec, it's only a few weeks away.
Well, it was 19 overnight just probably a week and a half ago. But last year before Thanksgiving, I think we got a snow.
Really?
And so I'm very thankful that my sprinklers are still running in my yard. I'm still cutting the grass. That's my favorite summer thing to do. If I have a job to do, is cut the grass. So I would love to hear our fans chime in here a little bit. Call us on the Honda Lincoln hotline at 402-464-5685. And let's talk a little bit about Christmas music on November 1, when we all know Christmas isn't until December 25th. So I'm sorry I went on a little rant there. That's what I usually do when I start the show. I have something on my mind when I come in here.
That's what we need to start doing. We'll open the show with Rocky's rant from now on.
I don't really want to talk about hockey. I know you guys are probably here to listen to it, but I don't have a whole lot of good stuff to say about last weekend. And that's part of, that's just part of the deal, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm super competitive. I hate to lose. Like, the more you get to know me, Joel, the more you'll know, like, I just can't stand it, but I also see the value in it, right? Like, I understand the importance of, we have to go through adversity, and we have to learn from our mistakes, and all those buzzwords and cliche things that coaches like I say, but they're real, and it's true. And so, I'm sure we're going to be a better team for it, because it gives us an opportunity to learn and understand what we didn't do well and why it didn't lead to our success. But my biggest thing, and I always talk about our process and playing the right way. And if we don't get the results that we want, then we can at least look, and we can pinpoint where we didn't do things right. If you're a results driven organization where the only thing that matters is wins and losses, then you're not focusing on all the little steps that get you to your success. And for us, we're focused on our process, on our daily habits, and what we need to do to be better as individuals and as a team. And generally, if you do those things, the score kind of takes care of itself, and you win a lot more games than you lose. And our process was not very good at all on Friday. Obviously, we played a pretty bad hockey game, is the most gentle way for me to put it. We got outshot almost 2-1, 47 to 26 or something. We generated very little offense. We didn't defend very well. Our special teams were nowhere to be found. And then Saturday, terrible start, just not prepared. And Tri-City is they make a habit of trying to score really early in their own building. And they did a good job of that. They scored on the first shift. We made a mistake. We had a forward playing a line rush against, ends up in our net. We take a couple dumb penalties. There's a couple more pucks in your net. And before you know it, it's 3-0 with 14:59 left on the clock, 5 minutes and 1 second, and you're down 3-rip. And you're making a goalie change, and you're getting up off the mat and kind of looking around because you got your lights punched out quick. And so you have to respond from that. And I was really, quite frankly, pretty pleased with the way we did it. Now, it didn't happen right away. It's not like we started punching back right away. It took another 10 or 12 minutes before we kind of got something going at the end of the first period and into the second. And I thought we did some good things in the second. Still weren't really going. Obviously made a mistake on a face-off. Ironically, if you go back to the fourth goal, it was a face-off. Poor neutral zone coverage, which you and I have talked about, led to a puck back behind our net and in the net, and then a mistake on a PK a little over a minute later, and all of a sudden you're playing okay, and now you're down by 4. And so, I was happy with the fact that we kept punching in the third, but we didn't get knocked out, but we certainly weren't winning on the cards that night. And those are lessons that you file away and you learn from, and hopefully you're better for it.
4-1 lost at Omaha last Friday, 5-3 at Tri-City the next night. And I felt like in that Omaha game, you talked about it, Rocky, there were things you didn't like, but I felt like maybe 2 or 3 of their goals were just kind of either fluky bounces, fluky situations, just the right puck luck that kind of led to goals. So despite you being, critical and saying there were things we could have been better at, I felt like a lot of it was puck luck. You have a goal right out of the penalty box, one a sloppy turnover, another a face-off play, just kind of quick little things that happened that led to goals.
So their first goal was off a face-off, right? We didn't.
Yep.
I will debunk your puck luck myth, and tell you where we made mistakes. And I also, just so you know, I believe you make your own puck luck with your work ethic. And Omaha really earned what they got. Their first goal, they want to face off clean. We're leaning on our stick. We don't get out in time to block. They step in and they hammer a puck, and it's in the back of the net. Their second one, Marcellus goes down, tries to make a play to the middle, a play that should have been handled in front of the net, and it wasn't. it ends up right on their D stick. And again, we don't block it because we're not in good position with our weak side winger. 2-0. We carry a puck into the zone, force a play, turn it over, lunge with our other defenseman, 2-on-1 with a forward playing a rush back.
That was, yeah.
There's 3. And then we make a mistake on a turnover, which allows them to get a puck coming out of the penalty box in a breakaway, and there's 4. So, yes, on the surface, you are 100% right. They got some bounces. They did some things. We gave them those bounces with some really poor effort, and they earned them with some incredible work ethic.
How exciting is it to play them again, though, Friday? I mean, you said it to me earlier today. It's nice, and you don't usually get that opportunity to bounce right back, but you're in the midst of a stretch of 3 consecutive Fridays in a row of playing Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, our schedule is for the birds a little bit. We played Tri-City 14 times. We play Omaha at least 20, 25 times, it feels like. I don't know. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but between those 2 teams, like, you're talking about literally 27 games or something.
Yeah.
Like, of a 62 game schedule, we play 2 teams 45% of our schedule. I don't understand it, but that's a different topic for a different conversation. But we'll play the teams that are on our schedule. We play Omaha this weekend, and there's never been a time since I've been here where I've been happier to have them on the schedule, because I want to be able to rebound. I want to be able to use that as some fuel and say, okay, like, they embarrassed you last weekend. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to roll over? Are we going to let them do it again? Or are we going to stand back up, dust ourselves off, and get back in the fight in a really important home game against a very worthy opponent?
You got to see Sioux City on Saturday after this coming Friday's game. And a reminder, make sure to make it out to the Icebox this Friday, 7:05 p.m. puck drop between the Stars and the Lancers for rivalry night. But then you get to see Sioux City for the first time on Saturday, defending Clark Cup champions. They've gotten off to a slow start. And in a way, it's a little complete opposite of how last year has gone so far, but they're kind of getting their legs under them recently. Are you glad you're getting them at least early on in the schedule like this?
No, we probably play them 10 times too. So, yeah. I mean, we're going to see them. We're going to see them a lot. And they had a really good club last year, like really good. Obviously, they won the Clark Cup. We beat them 6 times. We were 6-3 against them last year. And so, they also lost probably 90% of that roster. And, they do have some pieces back, some really good pieces. Garrett Brown, the Duran kid, the Slawinski kid, or Slakinski, however you say his name. They've got good players. They brought in good players. Ty Hansen's an excellent player just coming off the IR. So, they have a new coach. They have a new GM. That's a whole transition to a new staff, new rosters, new system, new structure. Like, that doesn't happen overnight. And so they've got a good coach there. He's an experienced coach. They have an unbelievable GM, Troy Ward, coach in the American League, coach in the National Hockey League, has been scouting for Seattle, I believe, Vancouver, prior to taking the job as the GM. So, they have the makings of something good there. It's just they're in a little tiny bit of rebuild mode, and it's not rebuild mode because they had really good players on their affiliate list. It takes some time to get those guys up to speed.
And then it's really tough year to year. You do bring back a decent amount of players sometimes. Other years you really don't. What are some of the challenges with that? Do you ever find yourself kind of frustrated early in a season because, maybe you want to do stuff similar to how you did the year before, but the personnel doesn't really favor that decision?
Well, you know what? In all honesty, I battled back and forth this year on how I wanted to handle a couple things, specifically as far as how we handle our D offensively and everything else. And we try to be progressive with the way we handle the D. We want them to be active. We want them to be involved. That takes a lot of hockey IQ and understanding of situations. And I was really hesitant on whether I wanted to do that with such a new group on the back end with only Tony and Henry back, and Henry obviously still not back. Do you want to introduce something that aggressive to a whole new group? I ultimately, after consulting with Art and Mike, we kind of made the conscious decision that we were going to do it. And so I think it's been great in the sense that they've caught on to it quickly. I think it's been a disaster in the sense that they're not making the best decisions at times. But in the same breath, like, we believe in them. And because we believe in them, we're sticking to it. And we're just going to continue to let them learn and grow and fail and become better for it, with the hopes that the more that they have this comfort and this confidence that we want them to do these things, ultimately they'll continue to improve, and it'll pay off for us when it really matters.
What's it been like having Henry Nelson back? Obviously, you mentioned him, Antonio Fernandez, big returners on the blue line from last year. He's just practicing right now, still a little ways away, it looks like, but got to be nice to have him back.
Yeah, Henry's probably, I don't know, I'm not the doctor or the trainer, but I would say he's probably still about a month away. As long as things continue to progress, he's doing some stuff on the ice and starting to feel pretty good, which is great. He's at the very tail end of his rehabilitation for the surgery that he had, but now it's getting back into shape. So I think functionally there's no issues, but there's a strength issue and a conditioning issue that have to be addressed, and he's working really hard on that. And so but just to have him around, Henry's always got a big smile on his face. You'll get to know him here now that he's back. He's a goofy guy, and I mean that super affectionately. Like, I really enjoy chatting with him and getting to know him last year. And we talk about golf all the time. We were texting back and forth about the Masters and all the LIV stuff and everything that was going on with the PGA Tour over the summer throughout the course of his downtime. And so he's a very stabilizing presence for our room. And even though he won't be playing for a few weeks, I think his leadership and veteran experience will certainly be a big help for us.
One guy who's been out, who just kind of got back into the lineup, Dashiell Oliver, made his season debut this past Friday. The next night, the first night he was as the extra skater. You talked about you were trying to kind of work him back into roles that would work well for him. The next night he's on the lines. No points or anything though from the weekend, as he's still kind of getting his feet under him. What'd you like about what he brought to the team?
His pace is immediately something that you notice right away. He's such a good skater. He pushes the D back. He's able to chip pucks and recover them first and extend offensive possession. And I just had a meeting with Dash yesterday, and I said, hey, like, you're knocking the rust off, and I know that. And so we have a really small sample size in regards to talking about you and what you're doing in the games. My biggest thing is I just want you to be confident. You're 100% healthy. You're in great shape now. Like, you're ready to go. It's just, we got to handle pucks at full pace and in traffic and at USHL speed, which is impossible to mimic throughout the course of the summer as you're starting to skate again. And even as he's been skating with us, he's had a few weeks now of full contact practice before jumping into the lineup. But there's just something different about getting into a game. So I'm sure that he'll be back to 100% and handling pucks and making plays and doing all the things that we know he's capable of doing over the course of the next couple weeks. But Dashiell is somebody that's going to be a huge part of our club success this year and definitely next year as well, which is very exciting.
I want to go back to Saturday's game and the weekend kind of one last time. There was a couple of moments Saturday that surprised me in particular. Michael Messick and Jimmy Jurcev both got in scraps, and Rocky, maybe I'm wrong in saying this, but those were probably two of the guys at the bottom of the list of people I thought would get in fights. What did that mean to see maybe some unconventional options dropping the gloves just to try and spark the team a bit?
You know what I think? I think sometimes guys get you look at a player and you look at the type of player that they are, and maybe you think that, hey, that's not really a guy that's got that tough streak to him. But I coached Michael's older brother, Jack, in Amarillo, and we always used to say, I had Jack at 16, and I always used to say, the day Jack turns 18 in the North American League, you're not allowed to wear a half shield under 18. I said, the day Jack turns 18, he's going to put his half shield on and jump everybody during warmups. Like, he's not even going to make it to the game. Like, the kid just wanted to go so bad. And so I'm not surprised knowing that Michael grew up with Jack. I'm sure he did some fighting as he grew up, because Jack's he's a ball of fire, and he's such a great kid, always with a smile on his face. They're so different, the two of them. It's actually funny to now coach Michael, but there's nothing that surprises me when it comes to Michael, because I know that he's Jack's younger brother. Jimmy, I was a little surprised with.
And he tried to lay a pretty big hit right before that fight.
You know what? I appreciate what Jimmy's doing, because Jimmy is he's a guy that does a great job working hard in practice. He's learning, he's getting better. And he wants to find a way to generate some more ice time for himself, to get into the lineup a little bit more consistently, and having that dimension in your game. You don't have to do it all the time, but the willingness is something that certainly is a great thing for him to show. And you know what? I think, Jimmy's just such a super young man that he's the type of kid you just want to root for, and you just want to see him do well and have success.
He'll be joining us in just a little bit, as will Dashiell Oliver. As we mentioned, this is Outside the Box here on 93.7 The Ticket, chatting Lincoln Stars hockey with myself, Joel Norman, and the head coach of the Stars, Rocky Russo. So, Rocky, one thing I've been keeping a tab on, and you and I have talked about it plenty, away from hockey, has been the World Series right now. Have you been able to
what's the score?
The Phillies had hit 3 home runs early on in this game, right before we started. I was going to ask you, do you have a rooting interest in this one at all? Which team are you pulling for?
Well, I'll have to sleep in the yard if I say Houston. My wife is from Philly. I mean,
okay.
she's a Philly fan for sure, and her sister and her are always telling me about how they were at the parade in 2009 and everything else. And so when we go home in the summertime, her parents have a duplex that they share with another couple on the other side. They live in the other half of the duplex, and so they each have a deck in the back, and that's where I like to hang out at night and have an adult beverage and a cigar, perhaps. And their neighbor Frank is a beauty. He makes homemade wine, and he sits out back religiously every night with the TV on the table watching the Phillies game.
It's pretty cool.
And so my father-in-law enjoys Philly sports, and so they're all rooting for the Phillies. So I will happily root for the Phillies. I have a beef with the Astros over the whole scandal from a few years back. I was pretty excited when Houston won a few years back before they were tarnished. But I was actually way back as a kid. One of our family friends was drafted by the Dodgers and then traded to Houston.
Oh, okay.
And so I as a little kid, like a 9-10-year-old kid, have Houston Astros hat and a hoodie and everything else. So but that's when they were the National League Astros. That's how far back that goes.
Yeah.
Now they're the American League team, and so I'm happy to root for the Phillies. I would never, over my dead body, root for the Flyers, obviously. I kind of don't, it's cool that the Eagles are doing well. Because I'm really not I'm not a Pittsburgh sports fan.
You said you were Penguins, but that was about it, right?
Penguins, and growing up, I loved the Barry Bonds, Andy Van Slyke, Bobby Bonilla, Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
Like Barry Bonds is my favorite all-time player. People can chirp me all they want about Barry Bonds, but I loved him as a player back in 1990, smacking the leg when he was catching balls in the outfield. And so I was a Pirates fan. They're hard to be a fan of because they're just habitually terrible.
I'm a lifelong Pirates fan, and that's saying something. So,
and you know what? God bless you. So is my brother-in-law. You gotta. It's like being a Cleveland sports fan, right? Like,
it's a good comparison.
Now, at least the Indians have been pretty successful. They haven't won a World Series, but they've been pretty successful.
Browns played well last night.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, the Browns are the Browns ever since they left in the middle of the night for Baltimore. But all the way back to '97, when the Indians lost to the Marlins in the World Series, they've had a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into the name change. That's a whole nother ball of wax. But but being a Browns fan, like half my family's Browns fans, half my family is Steelers fans. That's just how it is in Youngstown, Ohio. We're right in the middle. So I kind of don't really care for either one of them. I would probably say I'd root for the line on occasion because I like to gamble a little bit. Well, I used to. I don't anymore. But so I'll root for the Eagles a little bit. I'll root for the Phillies. Never root for those miserable Flyers.
That's all I needed to hear. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have more in just a little bit. This is Outside the Box, talking Lincoln Stars hockey here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer two of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room, located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
For Husker Sports Talk, and most importantly, wings. That's Wednesday at Wingstop at 50th and O Street, the official sponsor of the Captain. Order wings ahead at wingstop.com. See you there.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
The division sucks. The Big Ten West sucks right now. And the fact that you should have a chance to win this thing.
You should be in it.
Next year is the final year of the Big Ten West.
Yeah, it's not.
And I can't see right now projecting the next year one team having an epic rise. It looks like it's going to be very similar to this year of a hodgepodge.
I have a hard time saying that it sucks.
It's not very good.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, this is Kurt, your shop manager at A1 Automotive here in downtown Lincoln. My promise to you is this: you won't find another automotive repair facility that genuinely cares about you and your vehicle. Our service is outstanding and our customer service is better. Please give me a call for all your automotive repair questions and needs. Call me at 402-477-4660. We were built on small town values, and that shows in how we treat others. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure, there is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, all makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's premier store for men. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking here in Louisville. We are really hitting on all cylinders right now, and deals are off the charts. We've got a lot more new 2022 and 2023 Chevrolet and GMC inventory than we've had in a long time. So make sure you check us out online, or do even better, stop on in the store and let us show you one in person. Our pre-owned lot is plumb full, so take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again.
Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Outside the Box, being brought to you by Raising Cane's, chatting a little Lincoln Stars hockey. I'm Joel Norman, broadcast for the team. We're joined by a couple of the players from the Stars now, defenseman Jimmy Jursev and forward Dashiell Oliver. Hey, guys, obviously we won't touch on a ton from the weekend, but a couple of things of note to talk about. First off, Jimmy, you had a fight on Saturday. Rocky and I were analyzing that a moment ago. I put you at like one of the lower guys on this team I ever expected to drop the gloves, but that whole shift, you kind of looked like you were ready for something. Again, the way the game was going at the time, I understand it, but just take me through your mindset in a situation like that, because it's an opportunity to spark the team.
I mean, we were down 5-1 going into the third, and we were all saying in the locker room we need something to happen, and kind of told myself really from the time the second period ended, like, first shift, go out and get a fight. Like, see, you never know, like, crazy things happen in hockey, so said just go find the first guy you see and let it rip.
Is that something that, like, is that a mental shift for you when that's not something like you're out there to do, or is it just kind of like, you know what, I got to do what I got to do right now?
Yeah, basically just try to fire the boys up.
Yeah.
It's for the team, it's not really for yourself that much at that point. But
how do you self-evaluate your fight? Did you do, I mean, you both kind of lost your footing, I thought, but
it was good. I mean, I followed through, and then he fell first, and then I just kind of fell on top of him.
Yeah.
And then
I'd say he won.
I thought so too. You get the takedown, that's
I'd
a
say it was
win,
a win,
right?
yeah.
So I'll give you that.
I'd mark that up as a win in the books.
Dashiell, you made your season debut this past weekend. Obviously not the way you want to, but had to be nice to get back on the ice again.
Yeah, definitely. It was really good just to get back out there. Sitting around watching the boys practice all the time is
not as fun.
It's not as fun. So being playing again is it feels really good.
What's the toughest adjustment when you come back from an injury and you're back in the lineup? And what's the thing you go, oh, I forgot about that?
It's really just the speed. You forget about how fast it moves and how physical it is. In practice, it moves quick and everyone's skating hard, but the physicality in the game is just so much more. Everyone's really focused on taking the body, and they're there to get 2 points, and we're there to get 2 points. So it can get really physical.
First time this year that you guys have lost consecutive games, which is incredible to say as we're in November now. But what are some things you're taking from the weekend? Because I think to forget it completely would be a mistake, because there's things to be learned. I'll start with you, Jimmy.
I think we just need to get back to what we did the first 6 or 7 games that made us successful, and learn from obviously the mistakes we made, but more importantly, just get back to what we were doing early on.
Dasher, what are some things that you think that you guys do really well that maybe you got away from?
Our neutral zone was really good at the beginning of the year that I noticed. And I'd say our transition from defense to offense, we were just really good at establishing possession in the O zone, moving the pucks around, and it just seemed like we lacked that this weekend. Not many touches down low, and not really high to low movement, no traffic in front. So, you can't really create offense if your defense is bad, and you can't really create offense if your defense is bad. So
the one bright side going into this weekend is that you guys get a chance at Omaha again. How exciting is that? I'm sure you knew as soon as that game ended, well, we've only got to wait a week to get back at them.
Yeah, it's a team we definitely do not like. So it's going to be exciting. I think we're all going to be fired up to kind of prove to ourselves that we can bounce back, and that we're a pretty resilient group, which I think we are. So it's a good opportunity for us to kind of get back into our winning ways.
Dashiell, you missed the first game against Omaha. How nice was that to get back out there against them? Obviously, you were here last year as well.
Yeah, I played them a couple times last year. I think I lost both times to them, so I don't think I'm yet to beat them. So I think it'd be nice.
So you're the bad luck then.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to get a win against them this weekend. That'd feel really good for sure.
Well, hopefully you don't get scratched and we win then Friday, because that'd be bad.
Yeah,
that'd be bad for your streak then.
Yeah, no,
but
for sure.
I was thinking about it Friday night. They had a pretty big crowd on hand. I know they had a youth tournament going on, so there were a lot of kids there. What's the toughest place in this league so far to play at? You can draw on last year a little bit from that, Dashiell.
Honestly, I didn't play in many different places. I played in Omaha, Sioux Falls, and Sioux City. I'd say among those three, Sioux Falls is pretty difficult. They have a pretty good crowd, and then Omaha is a pretty good crowd as well. But I think at the end of the day, the Icebox is the hardest place to play in. There's nothing like it. It's so loud. The environment's unreal. So
I love the moment during Friday's game when Doug scored, and you could hear the Stars fans doing our chant to the opposing goal. I really enjoyed that aspect. Jimmy, how nice is it to have a home game, to get this opportunity to bounce back after a weekend to forget?
I think it's just a lot easier to be playing at home, familiar setting. You got your fans behind you. You get a little more revved up for it. So it helps a lot being at home. It's hard to play road games in any league, but we're all so excited to play this weekend.
Yeah, I hope to see plenty of fans at Friday's game. 7:05 p.m. puck drop as the Stars take on the Omaha Lancers. Rivalry night. Really don't have to say too much more. You get your tickets at LincolnStars.com. And we've also still got the November 3-pack still for sale. That one's a really great deal. You get tickets to all 3 home games in November. You pick the same seat for all 3 games. Pricing as low as $30. You can get those tickets now, LincolnStars.com. Guys, we were talking about it a moment ago as we're joined by Dashiell Oliver and Jimmy Jursev here on Outside the Box, brought to you by Raising Cane's. We were talking beforehand about some of the other sports that you like. And, Dashiell, you were a little more limited by comparison with Jimmy with how many other ones you were talking about that. When you're not playing hockey, what's a sport you like to enjoy, whether watching or playing?
Yeah, I like to watch golf a lot on the TV, and I'm also a little into racing, so I watch F1. I watch NASCAR, but honestly, not too big into
Just
the other
locked on
sports.
hockey.
I watch football occasionally, but just mainly I just turn on NHL, watch that, and that's just what I do.
I find it interesting when people say who play or around hockey, when they say they don't watch it, like if they're not playing. I'm like, how can you not be? If you're already playing, you're pretty locked in as is. So do you like watching a lot of games when you're not playing?
If I'm bored at home, I'll turn one on just because it's it's good to watch, and then obviously highlights are always something I'm watching on my own. So
do you feel like you watch hockey as a player? Or do you watch can you stop and turn that off and watch as a fan?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Okay. If you have a team to root for, you can definitely root for them as a fan. You can, talk like the regular people, I feel like, and just start yelling stuff at the TV.
Yeah.
But I think also being a hockey player and understanding the game more, it gives you a lot more insight. You get to evaluate players that, you like to watch and see what they like to do and, try to learn from them.
Yeah. And Jimmy, we were talking about the World Series a little bit as you were coming in. You're wearing a Chicago White Sox hat right now, so clearly a baseball guy. Have you enjoyed this postseason a lot then?
Yeah, it's been cool to watch the Phillies. They got a lot going at home. Their home crowd is unbelievable. I wish the Sox had Bryce Harper. We had that opportunity, didn't pull the trigger on it. Don't know why, but it's been fun playoff. Hope Houston loses.
Yeah, now I think we're all in agreement about that. It seems like a lot of people want people to move on from that, but it's hard not to be against them. After hockey, what would you say is your favorite sport? Is it golf, baseball, something else?
I like to play golf a lot, but baseball I love. But I watch soccer too.
Okay.
I'll watch football, pretty much everything.
You pretty fired up for the World Cup then?
Oh, yeah.
I love playing soccer growing up. It's harder for me to watch it on TV in general. You like it on TV a lot still? Because that's one sport I hear it's either you love it or you're kind of, you're not so sure.
Yeah.
But
Croatia's coming after 2018 losing in the final, Croatia's coming for it this year.
Not feeling confident in U.S.?
No. Croatia's number one. So
fair enough. It's one of those things, and it's nice this week. We got kind of the nicer weather. You can kind of golf a little bit. Have you guys had a chance to do that? I know it's been busy with practice.
We've gone out a couple times in the past month. We don't really get out very often because really the only day we can go is Sundays, and kind of weather depending, But so a couple times we've gotten out. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: who's the best golfer on the team that you guys have golfed with?
Definitely Jared Mangan.
Really? Okay.
He is. Yeah, he's nasty. And then I would say second to him is probably Coach Z. He's pretty good.
I've heard great stuff about Mike.
So those two are pretty good out there.
I heard Nelly's good.
Nelly is very good. I haven't played with him yet. I know that he played for his high school team. I think he was like fifth in his state or something, like fifth on his team, something like that. I don't know, but I think he's probably the best if we're talking numbers. But I've played with Mango, and he's he's a stud.
That's pretty impressive. Jimmy, who's the most competitive guy on this team when you guys are doing anything outside the rink?
Oh, I don't know,
man.
Keats is pretty competitive because we were getting sushi last week, and he had a contest on him and Marcy and Raph had a competition on who could eat the most ice creams. I felt so bad for our waitress because she kept having to bring ice cream out for these guys. And I mean, there was some controversy in it.
What was the controversy, if you don't mind me asking?
Taking some other guys' bowls and stacking it into their stack. I didn't see it. I
wasn't there,
but Keats is pretty competitive with that stuff.
I don't know how you can do that with ice cream because the brain freeze comes into effect.
They were small scoops.
Small scoops?
Yeah.
Just eating as many of these little scoops of the bowls?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that with other stuff, wings, ribs, stuff like that. But ice cream, that's interesting.
I think collectively it got to like 40 bowls.
40 bowls of ice cream.
Were they like? Did they get charged for that? I got another.
No, it was
story.
all you can eat.
It was all you can eat.
Yeah. But it was just like it was one scoop per bowl, and they were really small. So it.
And they got 40 of those.
Yeah, but it's.
How long did it take to eat?
There was
that
8
much?
of us there.
Yeah, that's fair.
But not that long. Maybe like 20 minutes.
That's a decent amount of time just to spend on ice cream. That's a hidden talent. Who ended up winning? Did you say?
I don't even know if they decided. I was just ready to get
We'll
out of
get
there. We were there for like 2 hours. We were there for like 2 hours, so I was just ready to leave.
I mean, that's something I think, obviously, Billard parents are very aware of how much free time you guys can have at times. What's the routine you've started to establish? You go to the rink, you're there for a day, you're kind of just clocking in, to be honest.
Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of like a job if it's, if you're going there Monday through Friday. And then Saturday is a little different, kind of with the game Friday night. But yeah, we're up at usually around 7, get to the rink at like 8:30. And then there till, sometimes we get out of there maybe at like 1, depending on the day. And then sometimes all the way to like 4 or 5. So just depends on how much like extra ice time we take and, what we're doing in the gym and stuff.
What happens on a day where, let's say you're done a little bit early, what are you doing the rest of the day? Is it getting another workout in? Is it spending 2 hours eating ice cream and competing with each other? What do you guys do, Jimmy?
Well, there's 4 of us at our house, so we'll throw on a game or something at night. We watch like the football games and stuff like that. Usually just relax with how busy our schedule is. Like if we skate in the afternoon, like the optional ice, we'll get home and then just usually relax, try to rest up for the next day. So
I know some of the teams I've been with, they have like a night a week. They do a certain thing, whether it's cards or maybe it's a night they go and get wings. Does the team have anything like that over the course of the week, or is it, maybe still being debated a little bit?
I know a lot of the guys get together to play some poker. I myself, I don't really play.
You don't play? Okay.
I've played a couple times before. It's not really my thing. It takes so long too. So I don't really do that. But I know a lot of the guys get together and do that. I think some of them are doing a poker night like downtown. I'm not really sure, but
okay,
can't remember who that was with. But yeah, so I think they're doing that soon.
Jimmy, are you a poker player?
No.
Who plays pretty well on the team?
I've heard Sambuco. Well, Sambuco always tries to get it together. Like he's always, let's play poker. Let's play poker.
He's the head of it. Nelly keeps on bragging that he's good.
Yeah, Nelly's all talk.
He just got. Yeah, he's got.
He's all talk so
we'll
far.
see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to hear about
Moscow loves poker, I think.
Moscow loves it. I know that Dougie likes to play. Larry and Raph like to play. So
Keats
likes to play.
I went one time and just hung out with the boys, and Keats was doing well.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. You were saying he was pretty competitive. So I could see that with poker, but there's amount of almost illusion you have to have with poker. The poker
you gotta
face.
be smart too.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue our discussion about poker and ice cream here on Outside the Box in a moment as we step aside. This is 93.7 The Ticket.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back in the future.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
This is Dan Friedman. Between 2010 and 2019, distracted driving caused more than 40,000 car crashes in Nebraska, resulting in over 14,000 severe injuries and deaths. Please keep your eyes on the road. If you have a smartphone, put it away while you're behind the wheel. It will help keep our community safe and secure. This message is brought to you by Friedman Law Offices, helping injured people. It's what we do. It's all we do. Find us at friedmanlaw.com today.
Yo, it's the captain, Rashawn Jackson. Join me this Wednesday at Wingstop at 50th and O Street for Husker Sports Talk and, most importantly, wings. That's Wednesday at Wingstop at 50th and O Street, the official sponsor of the captain. Order wings ahead at wingstop.com. See you there.
Join us on Fridays from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game On the Block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP. This Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and things are cooking here in Louisville. We are really hitting on all cylinders right now, and deals are off the charts. We've got a lot more new 2022 and 2023 Chevrolet and GMC inventory than we've had in a long time. So make sure you check us out online, or do even better, stop on in the store and let us show you one in person. Our pre-owned lot is plumb full, so take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street, or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer two of the most historic ballrooms in Lincoln. The Jasmine Room, located in the historic Grand Manse in the heart of downtown, featuring a beautiful built-in antique bar, spacious patio, and soaring skylit ceilings. The Scottish Rite Ballroom, located just 2 blocks from the state's capital, boasts intricate hand-carved columns, rich dark wood floors, and lavish chandeliers. The perfect venues to host your wedding, corporate event, or much more. For availability and more information, call us at 402-603-6483.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Clothiers, and Brent Excavate.
Trendy or traditional, Gary Michaels Clothiers specializes in men's tailored clothing. Off the rack or custom made to measure, there is simply no better shopping experience. Offering designer furnishings, sportswear, shoes, outerwear, and accessories for a man always concerned at looking his best. With world-class tailoring and personal service, all makes Gary Michaels Clothiers Nebraska's premier store for men. Come visit us now at Village Gardens, south of 56th and Pine Lake Road in Lincoln.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's time for Outside the Box with Lincoln Stars head coach Rocky Russo and Lincoln Stars broadcaster Joel Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Welcome back into Outside the Box, being brought to you by Raising Cane's. I'm Joel Norman, and we're joined by Stars defenseman Jimmy Jursev, as well as forward Dashiell Oliver, ahead of this Friday's game. Stars at home against Omaha. Again, do we have to say any more? No, you got to be here at the Icebox. 7:05 p.m. puck drop. You can get your tickets now at LincolnStars.com. I wanted to ask you guys about that with the rivalry. I've kind of been going through this with guys. There's been a lot of hate for Tri-City early this season. Yeah. Needless to say, Rocky has said, I kind of want to beat them more sometimes, partly because of last season and troubles with them. Who do you guys dislike more right now, Omaha or Tri-City? Jimmy fights Tri-City, so maybe you're biased, but
I don't know. I hate them both. Like they both have guys who just hate playing. Like, I don't know. I just hate them both, I think, equally, honestly.
I'm gonna go Tri-City. Actually,
you're gonna take them.
Yeah,
I love
the
there's
rivalry.
more hate there.
Yeah, I love the rivalry with Omaha, but I think there's just this there's tension between Tri-City and us.
That's fair.
As you can just feel it before the games. There's a lot of a lot of chit chat like during warm ups. There's there's a lot of antics that go on against Tri-City for sure.
Jimmy, you brought up that there's a lot of guys on Tri-City you don't like to play against. Have you guys ever had a situation, both of you, where you had someone you hated to play against, but then they ended up on your team and you kind of loved it? Or has that not happened yet for you by any chance? Because you hear about that in the NHL a lot. You say, wow, I hated playing for that guy, and then he was on my team, and that was pretty cool. Again, I know it's not as likely for you guys, but I'm curious if maybe there is an example.
I don't really have any. I mean, this is my first year in
Sure.
juniors, so I would say no. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Can you think of anything like that, Jimmy, maybe?
I'm trying to think. Maybe in like youth hockey, because I mean, kids move around and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess some kids in youth hockey, maybe.
You had a situation where it was like, hey, I hated
I don't
playing
know if
that
there
guy.
was that much of a hate, really. Just
I think I've had the opposite situations actually.
Really?
In youth
The guy
hockey.
you liked
Yeah.
and then you hate playing against him?
Yeah, they
Okay.
left the team, so I think I've had that before.
Give me describe the situation. Was it just like was a guy in your line or something, and the next thing
it
you
was
know
just
he's
like
checking you?
Yeah, good buddy of mine on the team, and then he left one year, and then just didn't really talk to him anymore.
Nah.
And just kind of as soon as we played them, they started the chirping, and so it's
I-
kind of a little hatred formed.
I was asking Patrick about that a few weeks ago. He was talking about how he knew Kieran Seabrian with Tri-City, and he had an instance where like they're good friends, but then he took like a stick up high from him. He's like, "Hey, what the heck, man? You guys ever had something like that where you've had a buddy on another team and then maybe things get a little physical at one point, and you're going, hey, wait a sec here,' or is it you don't even think about that when you're on the ice because they're not wearing your colors?"
I don't know. One of my good buddies, he was a goalie in a team in our division last year, and he had my number like all year. Had so many good opportunities to score on him, and he always stoned me. So I'd
That's
chirp him a lot,
frustrating.
but yeah, and he'd give it back to me. But I don't know. Nothing. Maybe that was probably the funniest thing.
Yeah, this might be kind of embarrassing. But like my team, one of my good buddies and teammates last year is on Omaha this year.
Okay.
Luke Baker, number 51. And he scored the game-winning goal on us actually on Friday.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we were texting before the game, giving some chirps to each other, and then after the game, just in the group chat from last year. And so we were all just firing off texts, and obviously before the game, little chirps, but then after the game, it's all love.
Exactly.
So yeah. So
I love
like that,
finding
stuff
out.
like that.
I love finding out about that stuff because I try to look for it more when I'm watching a game. If I know, okay, he's buddies with this guy or they're from the same town, if something develops, that's a heck of a storyline. I always look at it. So it's funny in that sense. Guys, I want to go back about the message heading into this week. You talked about the last couple of days of practice have been busy. What's been the biggest thing the coaching staff has talked to you about this coming weekend? We need to get back to this ahead of facing Omaha and then Sioux City on Saturday.
Probably just having all the little details right, because we know Omaha is going to work hard, extremely hard. So being hard on each other in practice just gets us ready for the weekend. If we give it to each other pretty hard in practice, it'll prepare us. It'll want us to beat up on a Omaha player on Friday, right? So just
for
harping
you,
on all the
maybe
details.
literally after Saturday.
Oh, we'll see.
Dashel.
I think the two biggest things they harped on were transition, whether that's offense to defense or face-offs. I think those were kind of our two big focus the past 2 days. On the forecheck, that's our transition to offense, being in the right spots, touching the puck first and actually getting possession, and then on the D side of that, being in the right spots in the neutral zone and not letting them come in with speed with possession. And then face-off intensity. Those are all the things I think that we've tried to really nail down this week. Get back to the basics, play simple hockey again, and hopefully then build from there.
I'm glad you guys brought those up. I thought that too. As soon as Saturday's game ended, I thought the neutral zone and the face-offs kind of the two things you can kind of circle back to.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Dashel, Jimmy, thanks for joining us here. Let's get some wins. Let's have a much more fun conversation the next time you guys are on here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Joel.
Thanks.
Dashel Oliver and Jimmy Jursev joining me. I'm Joel Norman, Rocky Russo on before. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to come by Friday night to the Icebox as the Stars take on the Omaha Lancers at 7:05 p.m. This has been Outside the Box, brought to you by Raising Cane's.
At Venue Catering and Events, we offer two of the most historic ballrooms